But yeah, like you said, we're getting into this now. You got injured, on that first day of practice with New Orleans Saints. I do want to ask you, have you ever felt depression? Was that the time of depression? And, as a follow-up question, what would that person you are today sitting in that room tell the person you were at that time?
So I don't think the depression really didn't set in until probably like 2 months into my rehab. And I realized it was going to be like an 8-month rehab until I could even just get back to running again. And I remember going out at that Halloween as Forrest Gump because I finally could get, I got a couple degrees on my numbers. So they put us in a straight because of as Forrest Gump. And I'm like, oh, man, this is the only thing I can go as, but I couldn't. I'm in the city of New Orleans, living by myself. Right? I mean, I had a roommate, but he was playing. So he was always food. So I was by myself down there. New Orleans can be a freaking ruthless place. It can be a awesome place. It can be everything, all the above. But yeah, depression really. I mean, it set in because I think I was isolated and I didn't know where to turn. I had a backup plan. Like, knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to work as a teacher with kids or as a coach or doing something to help somebody, a greater goal, right? But I would sit there at night by myself, man, and I couldn't walk. And that is like the most alone and lonely thing I have ever done in my life. Like, I don't wish that upon anybody. And during COVID, like, I think people were going through that. So I couldn't even imagine like doing that for months on end. I did it for about 2 months. I couldn't do anything. And I didn't want to help from anybody. I was like, nah, I got it. Like, I can do that. Like,
right.
I try to, like my parents are trying to help me out. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like, don't worry about it. It was my right leg, so I couldn't drive. I had to hire a driver, like, to get from point A to point B. I was getting my groceries. Like, it was crazy. It was depressing and debilitating, dude. It was a trying time, man. But every day I went to rehab twice a day. One session in the morning, they iced my knee down, get the swelling out. One session in the evening. I would get a couple degrees back every single time. So my leg would be straight. They let the tendon mend back. They sewed the tendon back to the kneecap. And then every week, they just cranked on it and cranked on it and cranked on it and cranked on it and cranked on it until I could do it myself. And it took all of like 7 months for me to just get back to walking properly, having a proper gait, running, like jogging. And like, I feel like, I missed like a half a year of my life, like half a year of my career.
Right.
That could have happened. So it's like NFL stands for not for long. Like, like you don't have a long time to roll with it. So I got out of that, and got out of New Orleans in one piece. And what was funny is, and I think about it this day, and I got to stop thinking about it. But like in the NFL, once you get hurt, you get put on workers' comp. Like, you get IR, and you get put on workers' comp. And I turned it down because I was so depressed. I left my table, probably left like $100,000 on the table, and didn't take it because I was like, I gotta go home. I am depressed down here. I cannot stay down here any longer. And I think about it now. I'm like, man, what's wrong with you, boy? Why you do that?
Or you think about it now, like that might have been the right decision.
Yeah, I know. But when you have money, you don't think about it. When you don't, that's all you think about, right?
Exactly.
So, I think about that's how depressed I was down there, and it took me a while before I could kind of get out of that. And I moved back home. I couldn't find a job, and I couldn't find a job that I wanted. There's jobs out there, and people could do, and some people are like, oh, you got to work on weekends, so I don't want to do that, or I gotta, those are odd hours. I just want a 9 to 5. Like, so there's jobs out there, right, for people, and it's just like whether or not you want to conform your schedule or conform your life to it. So I didn't want to do that. I struggled for a little bit. I struggled finding a job, and I was substitute teaching and loved it, man. And I was a teacher. I got into teaching, and now, like, I got my own like small business, and I teach, and just given all this like wealth and knowledge of just everything that I've like accumulated over like I guess my short lifetime, and just
Yeah.
giving it back and learning more, and just being a sponge as much as I can, getting, I mean, whether it's like, financial advice, or whether it is, strength and conditioning or kinesiology advice, or whether it's being a young entrepreneur, or whether it's any type of advice, just being a sponge for that, man. So we're good, just and giving it back out to everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. Like just from a mental health perspective, bro, you always, like, even though you mentioned your depression during your time in New Orleans, we never got that hint from you, right? And like, even like coming out of that, there's a residual depression moving back from DC, and we never got that out of you. And then there was an article that came out that you were now coaching in high school, and also now a PE teacher at Saunders. Like it showed like how much like you rebound, but like you not let any of that like depression consume you, and like how you're describing it today, bro, is going to be such an inspiration for people, for so many people, to like, hey, as much as you think like your expectations are there and you don't meet them, is not the end of the world, and you recognize that, and you found a calling. Like, you have the right to choose where you want to be. You're not going to like pick up a random ass sales job or like an office job sitting down on the desk, doing random shit. Like, you want to find the calling that relates to you, and you have a natural inherent ability of being a great speaker and motivating people. And like, you've done that, bro. I remember, like, as corny as it is, I remember sitting down in Lakeridge Middle School, 8th grade, you were like Wolf of the Year, bro. And like, you stood in front of everybody, and like, I'm like, oh, they're my corny ass friend AB up there. And like, AB, you like, the way you gave your speech to everybody, it's like you was running for president at that time. I was like, my goodness. Like, you were, bro. Yo, I can't even remember who the principal was at that time. I know Miss Huckstein was there and whatnot. Yeah, but bro, like, you definitely have that ability to not only voice inspiration to everybody, but to just instill it from your own experiences, right? Because not everyone is perfect in this life. Not everybody is perfect.
Absolutely.
And, you definitely shown that through your trials and tribulations, that there's a way to like still find a way for happiness and not let any of this consume you. Yo, bro, thank you for sharing that. That is a beautiful story, because like, I was so sad that day, and I only know you to play football. And I regret even like saying that kind of thing, because you could do so much more than beyond that, like in football and being at the place you're at today. So, bro, God bless you. That is a
Like,
beautiful
and
story, my friend.
just a quick hit, like what you're talking about is fulfillment, right? Fulfillment in your life, fulfillment in terms of, and not like a monetary thing, but, and that's my teeter totter, right? I'm like, oh, that person makes a lot of money. He's successful. He's happy. Those two things don't go together.
They
Usually,
don't,
like,
bro.
I
I
mean,
know,
more
bro.
money, more problems. And I got to get myself out of that mindset even today, right?
Yeah.
Even now, I'm sitting here, I'm like, man, like, I could be making a lot more money. Like, that would make me more happy. I'm like, no, find your fulfillment based on your everyday actions and what you do every single day.
AB, you said it best, bro. And we're glad that you continue to pursue your passion outside of football. That's, a beautiful thing to have, and the strength that you have.